He's with Thrive.
And he needs it by Thursday.
He was with Thrive in California.
It must be that cold. It must be hard to work for.
Oh, some more.
Harvey, he changed
No,
those.
he just where they're having a concert.
No, ever tonight?
What I had with the WEA. What I had with WEA over into Thrive it because in 6 months I got to start taking money
I think
out.
I have a video.
I don't feel trying to do
Pro QA. All right.
What's wrong? Is resting up there?
That it?
She was open.
All right.
North Ambulance.
Yeah.
2 or 3
I think
days.
it works into the
Wasn't nobody
system.
there,
So
even in the morning.
Oh, Everett's bear hunting.
Really?
if not,
Everett's out bear hunting up in Canada somewhere.
I'll have to ask Paul.
I think
Big bear or bear hunting?
no, he's hunting. He's wearing clothes.
Oh, okay. Well, I just, you never know nowadays.
Going up the grocery store.
Whatever.
That would be a scary
Whatever.
thought.
I think you know.
Going
bear
up the car
hunting.
around there and
Oh my gosh.
there was no cars to release. So
That'd be me and my hot dog.
and then today I see it's open.
Scope fogs up.
Wonder if I should go pull those drapes. The top one? Are you kidding me?
Ask about that, Larry.
Ever put that?
I'll check into that.
You go to the big 600 race or no? Don't go that one?
I don't have to do that one.
So my
I don't go now
graceful
until
self,
Michigan.
yeah, man. Trying to close it down thing.
I go to Elkhart Lake.
Okay.
I'm off for 3 weeks. And
7,
I go to
right?
Chicago.
I guess I better get my agenda.
Stewart's done before.
I'm too busy talking about that. Maybe Jeremy will do. I think there used to be like a little rod. Like if you caught it just right, you could go. Oh, it takes it.
Huh? I don't
Well, I'm in at 38% there, 60 to 74, Joe.
Can't forget the time, Dave.
What are we doing?
It's terrible to laugh. Just glad it wasn't me, you know. Yeah, no kidding. I think it's 7, isn't it?
Yes.
You have 7? Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order.
That's a good idea.
Mel will do roll call, please.
Mrs. Krentz. Here. Mr. Heisey.
Here.
Mr. Tim.
Here.
Mr. Piaski.
Here.
Mr. Eckstein's excused. Mr. Weddy.
Here.
Mrs. Collada.
Here.
Mr. King. Here. Mr. Wadle.
Here.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mark Kirschner.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, we'll stand for silent prayer and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right now we'll entertain public comments, and the first and only speaker we have tonight is Jeremy Becker.
Good evening, everybody. As many of you might know, it's EMS week this week, and I'm coming to you today because you are going to be voting on a proclamation for EMS week later on in the agenda. So I'd like to take 2 minutes of your time to explain what EMS week means to us at the EMS service. Many believe EMS week is about emergency responders, and in most cases it is. It is a time for our community to thank those responders in our county for all that they do in our time of need. If you ask a first responder, EMT, advanced EMT, paramedic, or dispatcher what EMS week means to them, you'll probably get an entirely different story. I can't speak for other agencies, but I know in your Waushara County EMS department, we use this week as an opportunity to go out and meet the public, educating them about our service and how they themselves can save a life by learning CPR. We also use this week as an opportunity to go out and meet with our community, the youth in our community. I'm happy to say we are scheduled to visit 422 children this week. These children visit our ambulance, go through our equipment, try out the things we try out, and we work with them every day of the week. We also host an open house, a fun fair. Last year we had 221 children register, and it seemed like we had that many adults or even more attend the event. If you'd like to join us for our open house, it's Thursday at 5 p.m., running till 7 p.m. this Thursday, right in front of our EMS office here. We'll be showcasing all of our ambulances, our stations, the equipment. We will also have fire departments and other emergency responders like Sheriff's Department, Police Department joining us as well. On behalf of all the EMS staff, I would like to thank you for your continued support of the EMS department. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, now we need an approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve.
Motion by Weddy, second by Krenz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We need approval of the minutes of the April 15th, 2014 organizational meeting.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Waddell, second by Larry Crawford. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have no old business, so we are going right to new business. And our first report or presentation is celebrating 100 years of Wisconsin 4-H youth development.
Thank you.
I'll
And
do.
we appreciate this opportunity to present some information and share some information with you tonight. Wisconsin 4-H is celebrating its centennial. We've been around for 100 years, if not a little longer. Back in 1904, to share a little history from the statewide level and then from the county level, the agriculture researchers at UW-Madison wanted to introduce hybrid corn. Farmers were not interested in hybrid corn. Things were fine. They liked their crop. How many of us resist change a little? I have to admit it, there are times when I'm not totally into change. And another thought that maybe went through their head is, what do those researchers, those university people know that I don't know? I'm out here every day growing crops and growing corn. I know what is best for me. So in order to get their hybrid corn crops out, what they did is they gave the seed to youth. And then they had the youth plant the seeds, and then they came together to have a corn growing contest. And this started in Richland Center. So in 1904, that was kind of the first youth exhibits at something that could be considered similar to a county fair. 10 years later, there were 10 counties who were having corn growing contests. In 1912, Oneida County hired their first agent in order for extension to take place. So you heard us a couple years ago talking about the centennial of UW Extension. In 1914, Thomas L. Bewick, if anyone ever goes to Upham Woods, which is where we camp, you might end up sleeping in the Bewick cabin. He was put in charge of boys and girls clubs. So they were taking a look at introducing ag and home economics, which were where the boys' corn clubs and the girls, does anyone know what the girls were taught from the university researchers? Close.
Cooking,
Close. Very close.
canning.
Canning. So the boys' corn clubs and the girls' canning clubs were what started out as 4-H. So that was the girls and boys clubs. So that's how they started out. In Waushara County, this is a letter, and I regret I don't know this individual, but Griff Williams. Does anyone know him? He was an individual that wrote a letter to the Mount Morris Pioneers, and they were called Pioneers because they were the first 4-H club in Waushara County. One of Waushara County's most enduring organizations, its 4-H clubs began approximately 60 years ago. Not long after Emil Jorgensen was hired by the county board, he began plans to establish the popular activity for farm youth in the county, knowing how much enthusiasm had been generated in other areas. In cooperating with a few local farm families, a meeting was organized at the Mount Morris Town Hall one summer evening to explain the program and get the opinions of township residents. Before the evening ended, approval was given to start a 4-H club, and eligible local children were encouraged to join. I was one of those who did and became a charter member. A local leader was required, William Hazelquist. Does anyone know that gentleman? Recognize that name? We're learning a lot of history tonight about our county. William Hazelquist, whose farm was just 1 mile east of Village, became the first adult leader. Whether any girls or not were in the first charter list, I don't remember, but not long after, girls leaders was also recruited. And then it goes on to say that because it was the first 4-H club in the county, Mount Morris chose to call its club the Pioneers. And that club continues to exist today and is one of our largest clubs. It's my honor also tonight to introduce you to 3 of our 4-H ambassadors to talk a little bit about their 4-H experiences. And Ted is first. Ted Kretzman is a member of the Pine River Rainbows.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we'd like to share with you not only the significance and value of 4-H here in Waushara County, but also the impact that it has made on each of our lives individually. Also, as Barb mentioned, is the centennial celebration of 4-H this year, and I think that that fact alone really stands in testament to the value of 4-H. The way that it's withstood the test of time and the way it's spent 100 years working to make the best even better. So, for me, some of the impact that 4-H has had on me, it has helped me to discover my passion for engineering and a possible career path, something that I look forward to hopefully this fall. Through 4-H, I've had the opportunity to do quite a number of engineering-related projects. I have built a human-powered boat. I made a water turbine. I made carbon fiber body parts for my dad's car. And last year, I even developed a method for fixing a common problem with the hybrid technology in your standard hybrid gas-electric car. So it was pretty interesting. But combining these really essential hands-on experiences with the soft skills that 4-H has helped me to develop, leadership, creativity, all these skills are going to go into helping me contribute, be a valuable member to the engineering field. So I've primarily talked about the STEM, science, technology, engineering, math side of 4-H, but one of the other large sides of 4-H that you're probably more familiar with are the animals and the agricultural side. So with that, I will turn it over to Leah, and she can tell you more about that.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Leah Golke, and I am, as Barb said, we are the 4-H ambassadors. I have been in 4-H for 10 years, and as Teddy said, I am into animals. My main focus are horses. You know, having a horse can be a very challenging time. It can be painful, as I've had my share of falls. But I think it showed me how to take responsibility and how to care for an animal. And in the end, it's all very rewarding when you get to fair and you get to show and present your animal and all the hard work you have gone through with that animal throughout the past years. I think 4-H is kind of like a big family to me. Everybody supports each other, everybody shares knowledge with each other, and is always there for each other, loves each other, shares knowledge with each other. The main thing that 4-H, I think, has taught me was how to make a goal for myself, and that no matter how hard, frustrating, or difficult that challenge of getting to your goal may be, with the friends that you surround yourself in 4-H, you will be able to obtain that goal. And I feel that that is one of the biggest things that I will take on in my life to college. And I'm so blessed to be a part of 4-H. I'm very happy that I got to meet the family I did in 4-H, and I will now be turning it over to Vicki. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah.
Hi, my name is Victoria Riendo, and tonight I'm going to tell you a little bit what 4-H has done in my personal life. I've been in 4-H for 13 years, so it's been a while. And I was first introduced by a friend who was in school, and she invited my sister and my brother and I to a meeting, and it's like, sure, I have nothing else going on, why not? So I get there, and it was the most enjoyable experience. Everybody was showing you different projects that you can be a part of. Everybody was so helpful in telling you how to get signed up, and it was just a really cool experience learning about that. When I think back to when I started, I was not a people person at all. I was like totally nervous talking in front of people, and one time my sister and I decided to do a demonstration in a 4-H club and about rabbits, and the most of the time I hid behind her, and yeah. Now I love doing demonstrations. I love talking in front of people, and as soon as I was old enough to take a leadership office in our 4-H clubs, I've done president, I've done secretary, I've done reporter, I've done all these things, and it's like helped me when I would go for job interviews. So that's what most of my bosses have said when I send in applications, how much I actually have learned and how good I am in leadership. So I really think 4-H is a great opportunity for any kid to learn speaking skills, anything about horses or electronics or crops. And so, yeah, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicki.
It's a privilege to work with these three. I mean, these three representatives are about for, I think we have like 345 members right now. So these are some great examples of some of the many things that can happen in 4-H, and it's an honor to have them here tonight with me.
Are these seniors in high school or?
I'm graduating out of 4-H this year, which is very sad.
Yeah, no kidding. You're a senior? Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for them? Great presentations. Thank you. Okay, next we have emergency medical dispatch and other sheriff department updates. Jeff, I'm going to let you decide who goes first, and I asked Jeff to do some presentations here tonight. You know, it's Law Officers Week, and so Jeff is going to fill us in on things that are going on.
Needless to say, it's been a very interesting winter and spring up to this point, and I finally have my administrative staff in place, and I felt it was a good time for you to for me to introduce my staff to you, so you can see the faces that are helping me run the department. You know, Randy Thurley is my chief deputy, and Lieutenant Tim Gansel is our head of emergency management and our courthouse security. But the new faces I have is Lieutenant Heather Wittig, who is our jail administrator, and Lieutenant Stacy Vaccaro, who is the new patrol lieutenant. And these are, other than Tim, who is the senior lieutenant in the group, these are the rest of the people that I am very pleased to have on my staff and are helping to help with the day-to-day activities of the department. So if I'm not around or if I'm busy with something, these are the faces and people you can talk to help you with whatever comes up. And then I also wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our K-9 teams. And I'll introduce the senior K-9 team first. Mac and his partner, Sergeant Brian Wenzel, if they would come up. Mac's been the one that's been talking through the whole meeting here. Mac and Brian are in the midst of their yearly recertification down at the Campbellsport Kennel, so they've been going through their yearly recert. And the newest K-9 team that we have is Argo and his partner, Deputy Wally Zilke. Argo will be coming up on his one-year anniversary with us here shortly. But these are our two K-9s. I am very proud of the K-9 program we have in this department. These two handlers do an excellent job. This is Wally's second dog, but they have tremendous dogs. They do a tremendous job, and they are highly respected throughout law enforcement agencies in the central part of the state and even around the whole state. They have a reputation that they do it the right way, and there is a request by a lot of agencies for having these two come and help them out in situations, whether emergencies or helps with search warrants, whatever the case may be. I'm extremely proud of them, and I ask that you be proud of them too, because they do a good job. I'll let each of the K-9s just want to talk briefly.
Well, senior handler. I had a couple years on. Either way, this is obviously my second dog. K-9 Argo has been my partner now for 7 months. Extremely good dog. I have nothing else to say. He's good. When he's good, he's good. So I've been fortunate to have two really good dogs. So
Argo says he has a good handler too. Thank you.
I'll turn it over to Brian.
Like the Sheriff said, I'm Brian. I know some of you. Mark's probably known me the longest.
I've known both you boys when you were, I'd say something, but we're...
When they were still getting in trouble.
I've known both of them.
Mac is 7.5 years old. I've had Mac since 2008. The initial was that dogs weren't needed in Washera County, and I tell you what, we got one, and I thought, man, I don't know if I'll ever get my chance, with Wally getting the first dog, and fortunate to have a second dog, and I tell you what, they're both needed. We work opposite rotations, so unless one of us is on vacation or training, we are both on the road throughout the week. We're busy, and it's a nice tool to have. In my mind, I know what he cost right away when we bought him. It was around $10,000, and in my mind, within the first year to year and a half, I believe that he has paid for himself based off the drugs he's got off the street and two of the things that he's done from finding people and children. So, I guess if you have any questions, Wally and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I am also very proud of the job both of you do and your dogs. I think it's an amazing job. The county's lucky to have both of you. All four of you. Thank you.
And I also wanted to give you an update on the emergency medical dispatching. 2 weeks ago, we completed training of the first group of dispatchers. Unfortunately, we ran into a problem last week. The trainer that was supposed to come in had a family emergency. He couldn't come in, and we could not schedule an instructor to come back in. So with that, we've had to delay the training of the second group of dispatchers till the middle of June. This week, we are in the midst of training two of our people in the quality assurance part of the program. These will be two of our dispatchers that will go through and review the calls and review the processes that we're using. And they were working with their trainers yesterday and today. The rest of this week, I believe we have the administrative maintenance of the software, and that will be done. So the go live date right now is being pushed back to the latter part of June, when we can get our other group of dispatchers trained, and then we'll be in a position to go live with the program. With the way we had set up the training, we had to build our schedule around, because the first group we trained about 8 people. In this group we were going to train about 10 people. So we had to do a lot of scheduling to get everybody to have off for those 3 days of the training that they needed. So with that in mind, when we couldn't train last week, we had to wait till the middle of June when we could rebuild our schedule according to that. I do have a demo here, and it does work. And this is a demonstration that was part of the software they gave us, but it's a demonstration that shows what happens when somebody calls in. And if you look at the screens, what this is a video of the computer screens that our dispatchers will look at, and it is basically the same program that our people will be using. What's nice about this is the screen gives all the directions and all the prompts for our dispatchers to ask questions. And what's nice about it is the computer program will automatically generate the call comments, as we call them, into the CAD system or into our computer-aided dispatch. So for that particular emergency medical call, the information will automatically be made part of the file of our record system. But what's nice is the people in the squads and the EMS people will see the same information appear on their screen. So as the EMS is responding, or if our deputies are responding, they'll see the same type of information that you'll see on the screens. Deb, if you would run that, please.
North Ambulance. Hi, this is Golden Valley. We get you started at 8920 Elgin Place. Grandpa? Okay. Her grandfather is some sort of unknown medical. He appears to be going unconscious. Go ahead, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yeah?
Hi, what's the problem? Tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know. He just started screaming in his sleep, and then now he's not moving or anything.
Okay, are you with the patient now?
Huh?
Are you with the patient now?
Yeah, me and my uncle.
How old is the patient?
79.
Is he conscious?
I don't think so.
Is he breathing?
Is he breathing? Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you some questions. The ambulance is on the way, okay?
Okay.
Is he breathing normally?
Is he breathing normally, Butch? No.
Okay. Does he have a history of heart problems?
Yeah, he has a pacemaker.
Okay. Is he still unconscious?
Yeah.
Okay, the paramedics are on the way. Stay on the line. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
Okay.
Are you right by him now?
No.
Can you get the phone close to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen carefully. I want you to lay him flat on his back and remove any pillows.
Okay. Lay him flat on his back, let him remove any pillows.
You want him flat on his back?
Yeah, they want him flat on his back.
Flat on his back and remove any pillows. Kneel next to him and look inside the mouth for any food or vomit.
Look in his mouth for any food or vomit, but
Is there anything in his mouth?
no, there's nothing in his mouth.
Okay. Place your hand on his forehead
Place your hand on his forehead
and your other hand under his neck
and your other hand under his neck
and tilt the head back.
and tilt the head back.
Put his ear next to his mouth.
Put your ear next to his mouth.
Can he feel or hear any breathing?
Can you feel or hear any breathing? He's gurgling.
Just gurgling?
Yeah.
No breathing?
No breathing? Is there any breathing, Butch? No.
Okay. Where is he right now? Is he on the bed?
No, he's on the living room floor.
Okay. All right.
He's gasping for air.
He's gasping for air now?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to tell me every time he takes a breath, okay?
Okay.
Start now. Are you watching?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tell me every time you breathe.
Ma'am? Okay, listen carefully. I'm going to tell you...
Yes.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions, okay?
Okay.
Make sure he's flat on his back on the ground.
Okay, make sure he's flat on the back, but he's going to tell you.
On the ground.
Okay.
Have him place the heel of his hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Put your heel of your hand on his chest bone.
Right between the nipples.
Right between the nipples.
And have him put his other hand on top of that.
And put your other hand on top of that.
Okay. Tell him to push down firmly 2 inches with only the heel of his lower hand touching the chest.
Push down 2 inches. It's only your heel.
Have him pump his chest rapidly twice per second.
Pump twice per second.
Have him do it. He needs to do it 400 times. That's about 3.5 minutes. It's not as long as it sounds. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll time him while he's doing that, okay?
Okay.
So tell him just to keep on pumping, okay?
Keep on pumping.
Tell him, remember, pump rapidly twice per second.
Pump rapidly twice per second.
I'll stay on the line, okay?
Okay. Copy, can you take that other gun in here?
Yes, you can. Turn back for now. Is he doing the chest compressions, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen, when the police get there, and when everyone gets there, tell him not to stop doing those until they take over for him, okay?
Okay. Yeah, they're here.
Okay, don't tell him not to...
Don't stop until they get up here, he said.
Tell him to keep on going until someone takes over, okay?
Okay.
The ambulance is going to be there shortly. They're really close.
Okay.
But just tell them to keep on going until someone takes over.
Okay.
He's been going for about a minute now. Tell him to keep on going. He's got 2.5 minutes left.
Keep going. There's 2.5 minutes left.
Tell him to keep on going. Ma'am, is he still doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, tell him to keep on going. Keep on reassuring him, okay? Is he still doing compressions?
No, the police are here now.
Are the police doing compressions?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're helping you now?
Okay.
Are the police doing CPR?
Yeah.
Okay, they can help you. I'll let you go, okay?
Okay.
The ambulance just pulled up outside.
Okay.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
So that's what a quick demonstration of what we're looking to do here. So, anybody have any questions or comments?
I noticed on TV last week, I think, they showed a young mother that had given birth, and her 8-year-old actually helped deliver the baby with the help of a dispatch. You know, as I mean, even to hold the head when, you know, as the baby's coming out, and, you know, it's just amazing that they could talk her through that. And so I think this is a great program.
I sat in a little bit the first week of instruction, and with the way it's laid out, it's, you know, there's science behind this whole program, but it's designed that the instructions that they give can be understood by fifth grade reading level, fifth grade understanding comprehension on that. And as Donna pointed out, children are even assistant, and even the voice on this demonstration was a fairly young person. So it's designed to give instructions on a basic level. It's not designed as to make everybody EMTs, and it's going to be an interesting program when we get it up and running. So that's where we're at. Larry.
I understood you right. There's 18 to 20 people that have to be trained. We don't have that many dispatchers, so who's all being trained?
We have 8 permanent dispatchers, and then Sally Soroka, who's the corporal or the lead dispatcher, that's 9. We've got 1 part-time person that we hire, but then we also have, right now we call them 80-20 positions. There are people that are trained in the jail to do dispatch work also. So like when we're short of people in dispatch, we usually bring somebody out of the jail to work a dispatch shift. Yeah, there are 2 other people that are also going through the class. Jeremy Becker, our EMS director, wanted to sit in on the classes, and Dr. Caves from Wild Rose, who's the emergency medical director for the EMS project and will be the emergency medical director for this program, wanted to and is sitting in on it also. But we're training about 6 people out of our jail who work dispatch also. With the way it is set up, and when we go to this, anybody that sits in dispatch has to be EMD certified by Priority Dispatch in order to use the program. And that's why we're training so many people, is we need to, for the simple fact that we have to maintain the staffing and the dispatch, and at times we bring in people from the jail to do that. Once this training is done, if we would hire, let's say we would hire a new dispatcher this fall, we have to send them somewhere in Wisconsin where Priority Dispatch will be doing training. They have to be trained and certified by Priority Dispatch before they can do EMD dispatching. And that's how rigid the program is. And with their rigid standards, they're protecting them, but they're also protecting the county by making sure we're doing the program appropriately. Any other questions?
I think one of the other really important things about emergency medical dispatch is that dispatcher kept her so calm. You know, it's pretty easy to freak out when you have an emergency and it's one of your loved ones that, you know, that is having the problem. And I think that's a big part of it, is keeping them calm and reassuring them. And I think it's going to be
That's part of the program is teaching the dispatchers how to remain calm themselves, but also how to get that calmness through the phone to the person they're talking to in that tool. Our dispatchers do a good job of it. We've got a good group of dispatchers, but and I think this is going to make them better. But it is important. We can only do so much on one end of the phone. It's important that the people at the other end of the phone understand, try to remain calm so that they can hear the instructions and react to those instructions that they're given.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Department of Aging Annual Report.
Definitely not as tall as Jeff.
No, not as tall as Jeff.
All right. Well, May is Older Americans Month, so it's really appropriate for me to have the opportunity to do my annual report during the month of May, so thank you for having me. I did hand out a yellow summary, so hopefully everyone received a copy as it went around. This is just a quick summary of a look at the 2013 activity for the Department of Aging. There's really not different from year to year. We typically serve about 3,000 unduplicated individuals. We will have contact with anywhere between 200 and 400 older persons or people with disabilities on any given day. We are required through our federal Older Americans Act programming to report by units of service, and we did 327,000 in 2013 for a monetary value of over $300,000. And what that means is that by people coming to see us, they were able to have that money come into their pockets rather than being, without it. 40% of those that we serve live alone. 63% are female and 37% male, which is pretty standard nationwide. 38% are in the age category of 60 to 74. 34% are in the age category of 75 to 84, and 28% are over the age of 85. We do about 50,000 meals a year, a little bit higher, some years a little bit lower, but that's our average. And at least 25% of those in the nutrition program are at high nutrition risk. And I say about because our congregate participants are not required to fill out a nutrition risk score, and so we don't always know for sure where they stand. We did in 2013 7,000 trips in our transportation program. 70% of those were with our minibus and 30% with volunteer drivers. The minibus logged 38,315 miles and 3,209 hours, where volunteer drivers logged 74,207 miles and 3,254 hours of service, which I think is just an amazing contribution. The national average for volunteer service is $18 per hour. If we were to equate that 3,254 hours, it'd be $58,000. So a definite contribution by our volunteers. Our elder benefits specialist is the person that works with Medicare, Social Security, senior care, other public benefit programs. She had 256,000 units of service. In our resource center, Julie and Peggy received they helped 1,150 unduplicated individuals just in Waushara County alone. And in our Quad County region, you could multiply that out by 4, and that's about the number that the ADRC serves. 3,380 contacts just to Waushara County ADRC, which is about 13.5 calls per day. And that might not sound like a lot, but when you're looking at the types of calls that come to the resource center, these are calls that are usually pretty detailed, such as people leaving the hospital and needing services set up in their home. We had a lot of calls this past winter or into the spring from people who had frozen pipes or had lost their heating during the cold weather. So situations such as that. And we had 144 people participate in our evidence-based health programs, which most of you know that's very expensive if you go into the emergency room, so even preventing one person from a fall is probably worth the effort that we put into it. One of our largest areas of growth in the Department of Aging is with our caregiver support services, and I've said this before at department head meetings and whatnot, that I could look at every department in this county and some staff person has come to our department in need of caregiver support. It's a huge growing area. We only are able to dedicate right now about anywhere between 9 and 12 hours a week to this program, so that's one of the areas that we're looking at trying to provide some more support in. We had 154 people participate in the Senior Farmers Market program, and we had 177 registered volunteers, which equates with their 11,000 hours of service to just shy of $200,000, which is, again, is just a huge contribution. Our budget for 2013 was just over $1 million, and of that, 37% is from our Older Americans Act funding, various grants, and different endowment funds. 33% is county levy, and 30% was program income and donations. We had some cuts in 2013, and most of them due to sequestration, a little bit because of county levy. and we had to try to make up for that difference. And so I listed down some ways that the Department of Aging, some of the things that we have done to save or cut expenses, including the relocation of the kitchen, which I have talked about many times here before. And we finally did pay that off in full in 2013. Thank you to your support. But that is a $30,000 annual savings. We reduced our full-time nutrition manager to part-time. We've reduced our full-time transportation coordinator to part-time. We've increased suggested donation rates. We've done fundraising and donation drive efforts. Most recently, we've transitioned our newsletter to a partnership with the Argus, and we've added advertisements. So some of you were probably familiar with our old style of the loose ends, which actually was somewhat expensive to produce. And this is, in May, we launched our brand new design, which again is in partnership with the Argus. And with advertisement support, we are able to pay for the full cost of printing this issue. So that's been a big savings to us. There's still a little bit of room for advertisers, and we're still looking for just a couple to help us out. We're hoping that it's a good experience for our local businesses as well as for us. So if you know of anybody that might be interested, certainly let us know. We also started participating in MA federal match time reporting claiming for our elder benefit specialist program. And that is something that gets quite complex, but it actually will bring in quite a bit of money for the elder benefit specialist program, so we're excited to be able to do that. Basically what that means is for every program that Carol assists somebody in with that has anything to do with Medicaid, we can match it at the federal level and draw down some federal funds. And then we are in the process of signing a contract for a group purchasing plan for our nutrition program and other department expenses, and it has projected to save us between 16 and 20% of our expenses each year. And most of that will be our food-related expenses for the nutrition program. So even though we've had some cuts, we've dug deep and challenged ourselves to come up with some ways to either trim back expenses or to go after additional revenue. I'm proud of those efforts because sometimes wishing and hoping just doesn't do it. So you have to actually look for some different opportunities. Some of the highlight accomplishments during the past year include enhanced service opportunity through our volunteer driver program. And what that means is typically we have always kept the volunteer transportation program for medical appointments only, but we recently opened that up to those who needed to go out of county for shopping or other errands, perhaps maybe to visit somebody in the hospital or something like that. It's not a huge demand, but it is meeting a need for a small percentage of people in the community. We have increased our Alzheimer's Association presence in Waushara County. That was something that was much needed, and we have had great response to. There are a lot of people that are, unfortunately and sadly dealing with people in their lives who have Alzheimer's disease. And we've had 2 volunteers who, in their own life, have a person with Alzheimer's disease. They have offered to start a support group, and so that started this past February. We had a big request last year for some increased free foot care service. So we were able to convince Wild Rose Manor to do that in our area for us. And the Waiwega Nursing Home also does that as well. And in cooperation with Tim Gansel from the Sheriff's Department in Emergency Management, Glenn Johnson, Human Services, Patty Wolfile, Public Health, and Jeremy from EMS, we put together, and then also the Red Cross, should mention, we put together a special needs planning group for emergencies and disasters, and recently completed our registry application for those who have some type of functional need that if there were to be a tornado or a flood or electrical outage, that they could in advance register for emergency assistance. It wouldn't, this doesn't mean that emergency assistance will be there immediately, but it will be in a registry, so Tim will be able to geographically locate those people that maybe are in need of electricity if the power is off in a certain area, and he'll be able to get to them or send emergency response to them within a certain period of time. So if you know of people that might need this type of service, please spread the word and let them know. Again, it's really intended for those people that would have the highest level of need during a natural disaster. So that's been exciting to roll that out. We've also added a new evidence-based health promotion program called Living Well with Diabetes, and that has been extremely popular and is showing to be very successful in the community. And Shannon Myers, who does our evidence-based health promotion programs, she's just a little go-getter, and she was asked, or Waushara County was asked to participate in the nationwide Million Hearts Initiative. And they chose one of the classes that they held here in Waushara County, and they were videotaped to be in this 4-part video that's going to be coming out. And the Million Hearts Initiative is an effort to prevent 1 million heart attacks and strokes by 2017. So I thought that was a really nice recognition and honor for her and for the people that participate in the class, as well as our volunteer leaders. So I did jot down just a few future concerns that we'll be looking at. I do have to mention to you as County Board Supervisors that we do hear quite a bit in our office about the parking concerns from some of the consumers. It's not huge, we don't have huge numbers, but there are enough people that complain about being able to find parking here at the courthouse. I mentioned that we did cut back on some of our staff hours, and that does concern me as the population continues to age and the number of people that seem to call our office on a daily basis. Whether we might have made some of the cuts, may have been a little bit too severe, but we'll continue to work on that as we go. I already talked about the caregivers and the need to support that program more. At the federal level, the Older Americans Act has not been reauthorized, and so we're hoping that that will happen soon. And transportation funding for special needs populations is really quite vulnerable right now. There's some changes going on at the state level, and we're hoping to just secure that funding because, especially in rural areas, I think that there really aren't a lot of other options for transportation. So that's kind of just a quick summary of some of our stats and some of the things we've been up to, some of the concerns we have as we go forward. And I guess I just wanted to take the last minute or so to quickly maybe mention some of the discussion that's been taking place about the potential adding on to the kitchen. And just let you know that the donor who has made the offer to donate $250,000 is still excited about the opportunity to move forward with the project. I do think that it is becoming uncomfortable for her somewhat, and so I do hope that, as soon as the bids come back, that when it does come to the county board, I do hope that you'll be able to come to a decision for her, for her sake, so that she can know one way or the other whether this is going to go forward or not. One thing that I wanted to say, because there's been a lot of discussion about the senior dining program, is that when the donor first approached us, and there was a small group that met, she asked, do we need another dining center? And my response then is the same that it is now, is that if you are building this space for the dining center only, then I would not do it. But if there are other uses for the space, and I believe that there are, then I think that it could be an asset for the county. Because the reality is that we do have a site in Wautoma at the Wautoma Senior Center, and I do understand their concerns, regarding if we do end up leaving there. But I don't think this was ever intended to be just a senior dining center. The intention of the gift included that as a primary purpose of the meeting space, but it was also for many other uses, such as our health programs, caregiver support, other county department functions such as EMS training, triad program. A highway department has mentioned that they would use it for certain things. So I think there would be a lot of other uses for the space as well. And regarding the meals I would say I understand. I'm a supporter of advocacy, so I support the advocacy that the senior center is doing. But I would say that, don't worry about the meals. We'll make sure nobody goes hungry. We'll figure that piece out. So if you feel that this is a benefit to the county, then you should do it. But I wouldn't let the meals be the reason why you would hold back from approving the project if you feel that it would be a benefit. So I just thought I would give my 2 cents on that for what it's worth. And I guess you have any questions for me?
Well, the bids go out for that building. When do they do?
Do you know for sure, Donna, when they're going out?
Oh, gosh, I don't know for positive. We talked about it at our last building and grounds meeting, and I think that Bill was just putting it all together, and I thought they were going out rather soon. My understanding.
I think they were hoping that they'd be back sometime in the middle of June, and so that then it could be reviewed at the committee and then brought to the county board in July. I think that was the hope. So, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Deb. Appreciate it. Okay, now we have a discussion and possible action items, and the first is a revision of the rules and bylaws of the County Board of Supervisors. And you received a copy of that with your package. And Ruth, would you like to do your thing? Please.
Start on page 14. This is simply adding the Buildings and Grounds Committee that you created during your organizational meeting. So that's the change on that page. On page 15, and I apologize because apparently I missed bolding and highlighting this one, number 10 under the Executive Committee is adding that committee shall be the Oversight Committee for the County Surveyor. The Oversight Committee had previously been the Land Information Council, but the surveyor is a voting member of the Land Information Council, and because that is now a contract position, that we have a contract with another county to do that, the Executive Committee thought that they should be overseeing that contract instead of the committee that the surveyor actually participates and votes on, so that he's not overseeing himself. So that was the change there, number 10. So then the corresponding change on page 17 is taking out number 3 under the Land Information Council as the Oversight Committee. Oh, also I missed on page 16, taking out Land Records Technician under the Land Information Council, simply because the Land Records Technician and the Real Property Lister are the same individual, so as a duplication. On page 18, it was changing the membership to the Public Safety Committee so that it was the county board chair and 3 regular members instead of 2 regular members and an alternate. That was a change that you made last month. On page 19, it was taking out 5, 6, and 7 under the Public Works Boards. Those are the responsibilities that have now been delegated to the Buildings and Grounds Committee that we added on page 14. Page 20 is a change in the membership for the Behavioral Health Advisory Committee. This is an advisory committee for the Human Services Board, and it's people who are appointed by the Human Services Board chair and the Human Services Board, and there is no requirement that there be county board members on there. So there can be, but so we're just saying that it's going to be up to 10 members, and that'll be appointed by the board, because currently there isn't a county board member on that committee. On page 21 is a change in the name from the Child and Family Advisory Committee to the Waushara County Child and Family Partners Committee. They made that change a while ago to more accurately say what they are doing. And again, that was just changing the membership to take out the requirement that it be 2 county board supervisors, because there isn't currently a county board supervisor on that, but that would be up to 10 members. And again, that committee is just advisory to the Human Services Board, and they have no authority other than to make recommendations. And then adding Adams County to the coordinating committee of the Aging and Disability Resource Center, because they are now part of our group. And that was the only changes.
Anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
going back to page 14, under Buildings and Grounds, we voted at our last month's meeting that we would have 3 members on that committee, but it doesn't state that in these bylaws, that there would be a 3-member committee. I think that should be included in that.
Okay.
And also to discuss this also on page 19, under Public Works, paragraph 2, it said it's part of the Highway Department, Parks and Solid Waste Department, and Buildings and Grounds. Actually, we deleted Buildings and Grounds from that, so that should be deleted also.
Yep, I missed it in that, in number 2. You're right.
Thank you very much. Good catch, because I missed that one. Yes, Larry.
I just have a question about the Land Information Council. It says that the, should consist of a member of the county board, and I believe we have 3 county board members on that committee. I wonder why we don't have 3 listed, why it doesn't show 3.
What page are you on, Larry? Oh,
Page
okay, I got it,
16.
16, okay.
Oh, it used to be 1, quite a few years ago, and then it went to 3, I don't know why.
But I mean, if we're updating things, maybe we
Or
should
it
update
should say
that.
3 county board members.
Are all 3 appointed as county board
Yep.
members?
Yes.
Right.
So, should we bring this back next month, Ruth, or approve it with those changes?
You can approve it with those changes and I'll
Okay. By Krantz,
Second.
second by Russ. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Ruth. Appreciate it. Now we have a revised social media policy.
This is also in your packet. The only addition to it are the 2 wordings in bold. The reason this came about, this is a recommendation from the department heads. There was an incident a few months ago where on the Sheriff's Department Facebook page, there were lots of comments being posted by different members of the public that was very derogatory and saying things that were untrue, talking about members of law enforcement, members of the judiciary, members of the DA's office being involved in drugs, taking drugs, selling drugs, being in prison. It had gotten to the point where Fox 11 and various news sources were calling us and asking us. We heard that the sheriff is in jail. We heard that the judge is in jail. And there wasn't any real clear direction about how to handle things that are on our social media pages that are defaming or simply untrue. So this language was to clarify to all of the people, all the departments that are operating these pages, that they are in control of it, and that if somebody is posting stuff on there that is untrue, they have the ability to remove that. They have the ability to block those people from adding future comments. And so this was just trying to make it clear in our policies so that people would understand that if you posted something that we found to be untrue or not of benefit to the county, it would be removed.
Any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would move to approve the revisions to the social media policy.
We have a motion by Weddy. Second by Bernadette. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, now we have some consideration and possible action on the following resolutions and ordinance.
Resolution number 16-5-14, final 2013 budget addendum.
There were quite a few of those. This came in your packet as well. Do we have a motion? Did you see on here that, let's see. These are addendums on the 2013 tax levy, 0. So this is mostly grant money, isn't it, that came in?
It's grants, or it could be where money that's in a designated fund is then transferred out to balance everything, to make it whole.
Okay, motion by Pat King.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Dennis Weddy. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Thank you.
Resolution number 17-5-14, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Wisconsin 4-H Youth Development.
Motion by Krenz, second by Waito. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
Resolution number 18-5-14, reorganizing the Juvenile Justice Unit in the Department of Human Services.
All right, that is also in your packet.
Chair?
Yes.
I move to approve the resolution.
Motion by Weddy. Second by Krenz. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we need a roll call, I'm sorry, because,
We're starting with Mr. Heisey.
Yes.
Mr. Tim.
Yes.
Mr. Piaski.
Yes.
Mr. Weddy.
Yes.
Mrs. Colada.
yes.
Mr. King. Mr. Waddle.
Yes.
Mr. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
Yes.
Mrs. Krantz.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Ordinance number 578, ordinance amending Waushara County zoning maps pursuant to the authority granted in Chapter 58 Waushara County Code, zone change, Rothenbach, Town of Leon.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Russ.
Second.
Second by Bob Waito. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Appointments to the Economic Development Corporation,
Okay, yeah, right. I lost my place.
Highway Traffic Safety Commission, Lake Management Districts, Land Information Council, and Tri-County Regional Economic Development Corporation. The only one that should be stricken is Arden Bant under Tri-County Regional Economic Development Corporation. His turned out not to be needed at this time, his reappointment.
We'll do these all at once with one motion. By. Motion by Bernadette. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Second by Weddy. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We also have 5 proclamations, recognizing May 4th through the 10th as Correctional Officers Week, recognizing May 11th through the 17th as Police Week, designating May 18th through the 24th as EMS Week, designating May 2014 as Older Americans Month, designating June 15th, 2014 as Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
Okay, we need a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the proclamations as presented.
Thank you. Motion by Weddy. We need a second. Second by Pat King. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Do you have suggestions for future agenda items?
Madam Chair, I don't, but I'd just like to mention the fact that I was very pleased with Lieutenant Gansel. A week or so ago, my relatives, my sons were coming in, one from California and one from Tennessee. And they were going to be staying in the area. And he was able to set up code red for each of them, which I was very happy about because it's bad weather and whatever was happening around. And he did a great job for us there.
Great, thank you. And if any of you know of anyone in the same situation, please let him know that if they call Tim, he can help them out with that. It's a great program, and I think people really appreciate it. Thank you for the comment.
Donna, can I mention something?
Sure.
One time we had some beautiful pens were made that were magnets. Because they were made here.
You mean for the board members?
I got one half but not the other half.
Well, if you're being that careless.
Do you just have the magnet half? You just have the magnet half?
Yeah. I think John ordered those, didn't he, John?
Yeah, that
Pence?
was quite a while ago, yeah.
Those are nice to have when you go to other counties and stuff.
So Bernadette didn't lose it right away. She waited a while before she.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
We could look into that. I think we're going to have budget issues in that line item this year, but we can look into it. Take a look at that.
Can I just mention a couple things? The new website will go live next week, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday. And also, we're going to have a discovery phase for the strategic planning process. It's very hard to find days that all the department heads are available, so we're going to end up having it on County Board Day in June in the morning. But all of you are certainly welcome to join us. And again, this is just the discovery phase of the strategic planning, but you're certainly welcome to join us. So I'll get more information when I have a location firmed up. We can't use the demo room right now because they're doing they're changing the ventilation in the basement. So
Too bad we don't have that meeting room out by the senior kitchen.
I've reached out to Dakota Town Hall to see if we could use their facility.
Yes.
It was brought to my attention in the back row here that we can't adjourn.
You can't. Oh, Everett's
gone.
There you go.
We're going to be here for a while.
Actually, Madam Chair, can I just add something?
Yes,
too?
you certainly can.
Okay. I'm told that next month we're going to be having an on-the-road trip to check out some land conservation sites. So I'll be getting you more detailed information about that in the coming weeks. And our meeting will be taking place at Mount Morris County Park. The actual meeting part of it, so.
Super.
Just a heads up.
Thank you very much. And Deb, you said you're just going to email us with the times?
Yes,
or?
I'll get that information out. I believe it's like 9 to 12, but I'm trying to get Dakota Town Hall, but I'll just see if that's available or not.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you about our website is it the same, that
You won't know
address?
the difference, yeah. You won't notice the
Okay,
difference.
so okay, very good, thank you.
He's hunting.
Can somebody call Everett out west and ask him?
Yeah, no
He's in
cell
Canada,
reception
we
probably.
can't- Isn't he in Canada? Okay, and thank you
go for
the demonstration with the dogs and emergency medical dispatch, I appreciate that.
Go for it, Mark.
Nope.
No?
I'll go for it. Everett left me in charge. Motion to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
That's kind of like leaving
That
a
was Larry.
fox near the chicken house, isn't it?
All in favor? Opposed, same sign.
Let's go home, Larry.
I think we probably
Oh, no, we work as a little every day.
Nice when you set up that code red there around.
I think there's a
You know,
cold
they don't
beer somewhere waiting
have
for
access
my
to
name on it.
Whatever, and so worked out well.
Good for us full-figured people.